got a new offensive coordinator, phenomenal guy, Jake Spavital. He coached Kyler at A&M, Manziel at A&M, Davis Webb at Cal, Brandon Whedon at Oklahoma State. This guy has the it factor. This guy is a phenomenal QB coach. He used to be the head coach of Texas State before G.J. Kine came in. Obviously, Texas State, once NIL really got kicked off and G.J. Kine being who he is in the state of Texas, he did a lot more. But I do think, again, as an offensive coordinator and coach alone, he is going to be the difference in what we've had previously. It sucked really to see Blake Shapen transfer to Mississippi State. I did like him a lot. I really think he brought a lot of juice to the team, and I think he's the definition of a leader when it comes to somebody you want at the quarterback position. But the guy we got coming in behind him, DeQuan Finn, phenomenal. Guy's a leader. Guy played at Toledo these last 4 years. He's a graduate transfer now, just named the starting quarterback this past week. He was competing with Sawyer Robinson, who was another transfer from Mississippi State last year. So I think him coming in, it changes more so a lot of things, because although I like Shapen as a leader, I like DeQuan Finn better in terms of our talent and what he has to produce. Now, outside of that, we also added some names, some guys you obviously know, Mr. Ashton Hawkins from Texas State. He came to the Bears, right? Which is a phenomenal ad alongside guys like Monterey Baldwin, who was selected to be on what list? I'm sorry, the receiver list. I'm blanking.
Blitnikoff.
Yeah, he did get a Blitnikoff mention, which was nice. And then Michael Trigg. I don't know if you remember Mr. Trigg. He was the Ole Miss tight end. He transferred into Baylor for this year, so I'm excited to see him. But again, a lot of adaptation has been made. We're no longer the youngest team. We do have a All-American returning, a guy I think who's going to be an absolute stud, Caden Jenkins. He was a freshman All-American last year, and one of our receivers was an All-American utility guy. So I think this year, especially with how the Big 12 is looking up, a lot of people don't think that we are going to be a walking giant. And I get it. You do have teams like Kansas State. You got teams like Kansas. You got teams like Oklahoma State. You got teams like Utah, who obviously have more favorable odds. But I like the Bears this year, man. I think we definitely finish over 600. I think we'll probably win 7 to 8 games. Our over was at 5.5. I would take that, but I'm just, without being too biased, I do think with our schedule and how it is, we probably win at least 6 games, realistically speaking, 7 games. I think it's a good year to build off of. I think it keeps Aranda out of the hot seat because he is there right now, unfortunately, and I don't think that's necessarily his fault, but I think what he's responded to in regards to everything he's been through this last couple seasons is more so a testament to his adaptability as a coach.
Your schedule is a little tough. I mean, y'all do have some hostile environments you got to go to.
Utah
Tech,
week
obviously.
2.
Utah
We're
week
at
2.
Colorado week
Iowa
4.
State at Colorado. So even West Virginia.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a little tough schedule, but I think y'all bounce back better than what y'all did last year. Obviously, it's
100%.
very not easy to do it, but y'all should do it. So
we went 6-6 2 years ago. That was Aranda's second year. His third year, we went 3-9. So it's tough because the last win before last year we had was against Oklahoma at Norman, which was a nice way to send them out. Say bye. But you know, Cam, he's still hurt because we sent Caleb Williams home when they came to Waco.
No, it's okay because Cam won his Super Bowl last year, so he thinks they had a good season.
well, speaking of which,
We win it all the time.
I'll let you kick
Longhorns?
it off with
Yeah, I
UT.
think the Longhorns were primed
think-
and ready to chase a national championship this year.
Yeah, I
if you follow
think you
that.
and I have a little bit of different expectations. For us, but go ahead.
I anticipate
I
that.
love
Carlos is low aiming Carlos. I just look at this team. It's one of the most talented teams, if not the most talented team outside of 2005. But I think really in hindsight, we're going to look back in a few years and compare this team to that 2005 team. Best offensive line Texas has ever had in my lifetime.
Really?
I think most people got it ranked second in the country behind LSU right now, but they're right there neck and neck. Kelvin Banks Jr., him or Walker Campbell is going to be
Americans, right?
preseason.
Preseason,
yeah.
On the offensive line?
Yeah.
Yeah. Your left tackle
And DJ Campbell.
Yeah.
who's your right guard?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's replacing a guy that started 2 years in Cole Hudson. So if you hear Kyle Flood talk, he says we're 7-8 deep on the offensive line of SEC starters. Trevor Goosby's developing behind Kelvin Banks, who they just love. They say he'd be starting for any other team other than LSU in the SEC. So you got that offensive line. You got Quinn Ewers in year 3. Obviously, I think Quinn Ewers is the man. I think there's some hyperbole on Quinn Ewers that's, a little bit unfair and not real. If you look at his splits versus AP top 25, it's better than any starter in the country that's coming this year and expected to be a good quarterback. I mean, Carson Beck, Milroe, Shadur, name the guy, even the older guys, Dylan Gabriel. He actually, contrary to whatever the narrative has been, Quinn steps up in the biggest games. Like even Oklahoma, when he has the early turnovers, he finished like 30 of 31. Like the ball stops touching the ground. Washington, a little slow start, finished like 20 of 23 completions. Like he gets dialed and the ball stops touching the ground. Third year in the Sark system, historically speaking, really, really good for quarterbacks. Sark just sends everybody to the NFL.